Good afternoon, children. In the previous module, we learnt how to subtract by borrowing 110. Today, we will learn how to subtract by borrowing 110 and 100. Do you remember the poem I taught you in the previous module? Will you recite it along with me? Let's start. More on the top. No need to stop. More on the floor. Go next door and borrow 10 more. Number is the same. 0 is the game. Very good. Let us subtract the next numbers with the help of the poem. 545 minus 265. As always, we will start subtracting the numbers in the units column. 5 minus 5. Do we have more on top? No. Next question. Do we have more on the floor? No. Lastly, is the number on top same as the number in the bottom floor? Yes. If the number is the same, then 0 is the game. Therefore, 5 minus 5 is equal to 0. Now that we have found the answer for the numbers in the units column, let's move to the next column. Always remember, children, solve one column at a time. Tens column. 4 minus 6. Do we have more on top? No. Do we have more on the floor? Yes. 6 is more than 4. What should we do if there is more on the bottom floor? The poem says we should go next door and borrow 10 more. But we have to borrow from the hundreds column. Instead of borrowing 110, we will borrow 100. Let us borrow 100 from 5 hundreds. Strike 5 and write 4. 100 and 4 tens together makes 14 tens. Strike 4 and write 14. Now, do we have more on top? Yes. So, let's subtract. 14 minus 6 is equal to 8. We have found the answer for the numbers in the tens column as well. Let's move to the hundreds column. 4 minus 2. Do we have more on top? Yes. Let us subtract 2 from 4. The answer is 2. 545 minus 265 is equal to 280. Let us take a look at the next example. 234 minus 145. Once again, let's start by subtracting the numbers in the units column. 4 minus 5. Do we have more on top? No. Do we have more on the floor? Yes. 5 is more than 4. Let us borrow 110 from 3 tens. Strike 3 and write 2. 110 plus 4 units is equal to 14 units. Strike 4 and write 14. Now, do we have more on top? Yes. So, let's subtract. 14 minus 5 is equal to 9. Tens column. 2 minus 4. Do we have more on the top or on the bottom floor? You are right. We have more on the bottom floor. 4 is more than 2. So, we will have to borrow 100 from two hundreds. Strike 2 and write 1. 100 plus 2 tens is equal to 12 tens. Strike 2 and write 12. Now we have more on top. 12 minus 4 is equal to 8. Lastly, let's subtract the numbers in the hundreds column. 1 minus 1. Do we have more on top? No. Do we have more on the floor? No. Is the number on the top same as the number on the bottom floor? Yes. If the number is the same, 0 is the game. 1 minus 1 is equal to 0. Therefore, 234 minus 145 is equal to 89. Now that we know how to subtract numbers by borrowing 110 and 100, it's time to open your mathematics notebook. Write today's date, classwork, question. Arrange the numbers vertically and subtract. A. 271 minus 138. In the number 271, 1 is in the units place, 7 is in the tens place, and 2 is in the hundreds place. In the number 138, 8 is in the units place, 3 is in the tens place, and 1 is in the hundreds place. We have a bigger number in the bottom floor of the units column. So, let's borrow 110 from 7 tens. Strike 7 and write 6. 110 plus 1 unit is equal to 11 units. Strike 1 and write 11. 11 minus 8 is equal to 3. Next is the tens column. We have a bigger number on top. Therefore, we can carry on with the subtraction. 6 minus 3 is equal to 3. Lastly, we have the hundreds column. 2 minus 1 is equal to 1. Therefore, 271 minus 138 is equal to 133. Write the answer in figures and words. B. 654 minus 56. In the number 654, 4 is in the units place, 5 is in the tens place, and 6 is in the hundreds place. In the number 56, 6 is in the units place and 5 is in the tens place. Let's start by subtracting the numbers in the units column. 6 is more than 4. Therefore, we will borrow 110 from 5 tens. Strike 5 and write 4. 110 plus 4 units is equal to 14 units. Strike 4 and write 14. 14 minus 6 is equal to 8. Next is the tens column. 5 is greater than 4. So, once again we will have to borrow. Let's borrow 100 from 6 hundreds. Strike 6 and write 5. 100 plus 4 tens is equal to 14 tens. Strike 4 and write 14. 14 minus 5 is equal to 9. Lastly is the hundreds column. We do not have any other number except 5 in the hundreds column. So, we will write the number 5 as it is. Therefore, 654 minus 56 is equal to 598. Write the answer in figures and words. 500 minus 249. In the number 500, 0 is in the units place as well as the tens place, and 5 is in the hundreds place. In the number 249, 9 is in the units place, 4 is in the tens place, and 2 is in the hundreds place. In the units column, 9 is greater than 0. Therefore, we will borrow 110 from the next door. Since we have 0 in the tens column as well, we will borrow 100 from the 5 hundreds that are there. Strike 5 and write 4. 100 plus 0 tens is equal to 10 tenths. Strike 0 and write 10. Now, can the 0 in the units column borrow 110 from 10 tenths? Yes. Strike 10 and write 9. 110 plus 0 units is equal to 10 units. Strike 0 and write 10. 10 minus 9 is equal to 1. Next, let's subtract the numbers in the tens column. 9 minus 4. 9 is greater than 4. So, we do not have to borrow. 9 minus 4 is equal to 5. Lastly, the hundreds column. 4 minus 2 is equal to 2. Therefore, 500 minus 249 is equal to 251. Write the answer in figures and words. Now, it's time for your homework. Keep practicing.